Hi everybody, and welcome to Hann-Made Studio. You want to make beautiful blooms like this, not too sure how to go about it, stay tuned and I'm going to show you how easy it is to create beautiful flowers for your mosaics. The tools that you're going to need today for this project are a sheet of glass. Now I've chosen a glass that's got a little bit of a ripple on one side and it's pretty flat on the other. So it doesn't matter what glass you choose, but make sure the glass is not too textured. This is just a very little texture, so it's still reasonably easy to cut and shape. If it's too textured, it's going to be a little bit difficult, so that's the glass. Also, the glass that I've got, I have actually scored into 1-inch squares, so you might be able to see that scoring. So these are scored into 1-inch squares to do my cuts. That will make it easier for you. If you're going to do your own scoring, you will need a glass scorer to get it scored into your 1-inch squares. The other thing that you do need are glass nippers. Now, glass nippers have a rotary cutter, and that will give you a really nice, good, sharp cut. These are the breader nippers. These are the breader nippers. They're really, really easy to use. I can highly recommend them for anybody who has a little bit of arthritis or sore wrists, not really strong. These are great to use. If you don't have those and don't have the money, because they're pretty exy, but they're worth it, you can go into these cheaper nippers. They are just the simple fulcrum. They're still easy to use as long as the blades are sharp. And so they are quite okay to use for this project. In this project, you will be seeing me use the breader nippers. We're about ready to get started, so stay tuned and I'll see you at the end. I forgot to mention about the adhesives that we are going to be using today. You can use any adhesive, but for this one workshop, I've actually used what we call multi-use adhesive. This is bought in Australia. You can buy it online. It is pretty waterproof and it's great for outdoor use. It's also clear, which is really good. If you don't have that, most people have a go-to, which is Well Bond. That will do the job. That's not bad to work with either, but it's not waterproof, so just be aware of that. Or if you want something that's more waterproof, you can use the MAC adhesive. So that is crystal clear and it's waterproof. You don't have to use crystal clear glue. You can use any glue you like, but I like using the clear glue because it doesn't discolor my glass. So that's one of the reasons why I'm using this clear glue. Also, it's a little bit flexible because when I use these, I can then put them onto other surfaces. The other thing, if you have a look very closely, there is some tulle behind it. I'm actually putting these onto some mosaic mesh. Now, talking about mosaic mesh, I'm not using the conventional mesh because here it is. It's pretty big. The holes in this are pretty wide. So for doing my little pieces, it's not as serviceable as I would like. So the other thing that I use is tulle. So here's the tulle that I'm going to be using. This is the tulle that they use under dresses as a stiffener in ballet dresses. It's really cheap, it's inexpensive, and it's fairly easy to buy. So this is what I'm going to be using to stick my flowers onto. I think we have everything ready. Let's go. The glass is ready and I'm going to break it just with my hands. It's like breaking chocolate along the score lines and I push away. Now I'm going to use the running pliers. The running pliers go along the score line, they marry up and you gently squeeze the running pliers and the glass snaps. And I'm breaking these into 1-inch squares ready for my flowers. These are the marks that I'm going to be using on my flowers. I'm going to mark the flower in half and then I'm drawing in the V shapes for the petals. And you can see the darker areas which show the rounding of the petal. I'm using the glass nippers to cut this glass in half. I'm now cutting the actual petals out and doing the V shapes. With the marker, I'm actually showing you where to cut the petals and rounding them off. Without doing this, they look rather triangular. By cutting the petals and softening that roundness, you're actually giving a beautiful shape to these. And it's little nibbles on the petals. It can be quite tedious, and it's really hard to see that, but it's giving the petal a really nice round shape. Oops, they're so small that they tend to jump out of your hand. So just take your time. They are tedious, as I said, but keep going, and it is really worth doing this job. They look fantastic when you've finished. Yep, another one fell out. Lots and lots of little nibbles. And the other thing I love about doing these videos is that you can do it in fast motion, and we're going to speed this up and do lots of petals. You need around about 6 to 8 petals for each flower. I've got the board, it's set up. Now I'm using a sanding block, and it's just to smooth the top of the petals. Ordinarily the sanding block sits on the table, but for the use of this video I've actually got it in my hand, and I'm just gently rubbing the top of the petals. I don't normally worry about this too much, but some people like their top of their petals really lovely and smooth. The multi-use adhesive is an Australian glue. We buy it at Mitre 10. You can also buy it online, and I'm putting a good dollop of that on my board, which is covered with clear plastic first and then covered with the tulle. And the little millefiori is placed in the middle first, and now I'm placing the petals onto the glue. I'm not squashing them down, I'm just gently moving them on top. And sometimes tweezers make it a little bit easier as well. The beauty of using this clear glue is that it doesn't dry too quickly, which means that you can move your petals around a little bit.
We've finished your flowers. They're actually on the tulle. That's your tulle board. When they're dry, you can actually cut them off. When they're dry, you can actually cut them off, so you can do that. Then I put them into a container, and I have them to use at a later date, which is really, really handy. If you liked what you saw today, could you please hit that like button? Also, remember to subscribe and ring that bell. I'm Cheryl Hann-Woodlock from Hann-Made Studio saying thank you so much, guys, for watching. We'll see you later. Bye.